Okay, so there's this massive wave of new AI regulations about to crash down on California. And for literally thousands of organizations, it's a sink or swim moment. They have to get compliant, and they have to do it like yesterday. This has created this incredibly high-stakes challenge, but, it's also a huge opportunity.
So that really brings us to the big question we're tackling here. Is California actually ready for the AI future that it's building? I mean, the state is writing all these new rules, but who's going to train the people that actually have to follow them?
Let's just try to put a number on this. On a scale of 1 to 10, the urgency for a skilled AI compliance workforce, it's a 9. A 9. That's not a we'll get to it later kind of problem. That's a red alert, all hands on deck situation that's hitting organizations right now.
And that's the perfect setup for Act 1 of our story, the compliance crisis. To really get why the solution is so cool, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the problem that pretty much everyone in California is up against.
So what's causing all this chaos? Well, it's this flood of new, really complex laws. We're talking about rules that say companies have to be totally transparent about how their AI works, they have to run these tough audits to check for bias, all of it. For most companies, it's like being handed a rulebook for a brand new game, but it's written in a language they don't speak.
But in the face of a challenge this big, heroes tend to emerge. And in this story, we get two very different ones. Let's meet our main characters, the Guardian and the Catalyst.
Let's break down our two players here. On one side, you have the Guardian, AI care agents 24/7. Think of them as the expert guide, a nonprofit with deep legal know-how, focused on making this stuff accessible. And on the other side, you've got the Catalyst, the Growth Stack.ai. They're the tech powerhouse with the AI platform to actually train people at scale and prove they're ready.
So let's zoom in on our Guardian for a sec. AI Care Agents 24/7 is all about the mission. Their whole reason for being is to provide expert AI compliance education, especially to places that really need it, like healthcare and other nonprofits. And get this, they do it at about half the cost of their competitors. They are the legal and ethical compass of this story.
And then we have our Catalyst. The Growth Stack.ai brings the tech firepower. It's this super advanced AI coaching platform that's basically the engine for this whole operation. It's the tech that can train thousands of people, watch how they're doing, and then prove to the regulators that, yes, these folks are actually compliant.
So what happens when a Guardian and a Catalyst decide to team up? Well, that gets you to Act 3, a really radical alliance that's built on an idea that's as simple as it is powerful. Together, they've created what they're calling the California AI Compliance Workforce Accelerator. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful. But what makes this whole thing so groundbreaking is its foundation. A true, no-kidding 50-50 partnership.
And they mean 50-50 in the most literal way possible. Every single dollar that comes in, it doesn't matter if it's from grants, donations, pilot programs, platform fees, anything, it all gets split right down the middle. This whole model is built to make sure the nonprofit's mission and the tech company's innovation are always on the exact same page.
I mean, this visual says it all, right? A perfectly balanced model. Equal risk, equal reward. By weaving their finances together like this, the Guardian and the Catalyst have basically guaranteed that they are always pulling in the same direction. They're completely locked in on one mission.
Okay, so it's a great idea, a beautiful partnership, but how does this alliance actually stack up in the real world? Let's jump to Act 4 and see how they're navigating the competitive field.
This chart right here, this gets to the absolute heart of their strategy. Remember that crazy urgency score we talked about? A 9 out of 10? Well, look at the rate of direct competition. It's only a 6. That huge gap between the overwhelming need and the sort of moderate competition, that is the massive market opportunity that they are just perfectly positioned to grab. Their spot in the market is it's crucial. They're not trying to be the cheapest option, and they're definitely not the most expensive. Instead, they've carved out this incredibly powerful middle ground, where they blend the mission-driven approach of a nonprofit with the scalable tech of a startup. Nobody else is doing this. So what's their secret sauce? Well, it's a few things. It's that unique mix of nonprofit heart and tech muscle. It's their laser focus on California law, which is something these big, generic, global platforms just can't compete with. And it's their strategy of going after the sectors that are often overlooked but need this help the most. And that brings us to our final act, the real-world impact. Because this isn't just a clever business model, right? This is about actually powering the future of California's workforce. So who's this for?
The short answer is pretty much every major organization in the entire state. I'm talking about hospitals trying to protect patient data, government agencies using AI for public services, and yep, even the tech firms that are building the AI in the first place. The need for a certified, compliant workforce is absolutely everywhere.
And here's the thing, this is not a one-and-done fix. This timeline shows that the deadlines happening right now are just the first wave. AI governance is about to become this continuous, decade-long cycle of updates and audits and risk management. This alliance isn't just solving today's fire drill, they're building the infrastructure for tomorrow's reality.
You know, the analysis of this model really says it best. They are a market innovator targeting underserved sectors with a strong competitive moat. It's that combination, the unique partnership, the focus on those who need it most, that's created something that is truly built to last.
And that just leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. We've seen how this model works for AI compliance in California. But what if this alliance between a mission-driven guardian and a tech-powered catalyst is something more? Could this actually be the blueprint for how we solve society's next great challenges?